Welcome back to my channel, baddies. Today I'm going to teach you how to wrap fabric around a tumbler with a handle. So if you want to learn how to make this cup while listening to me talk your ears off, please keep watching. I swear my YouTube videos are more like podcasts because I talk about random stuff the whole time. Anyway, thanks for being here. I love you guys. I am so excited about this cup, you guys. First of all, I love fabric tumblers. Love. And I've been wanting to make myself a fabric tumbler because I love Lisa Frank. It brings back all the feels. But I've also wanted to make myself a cup with a handle. And I was like, you know what? We're going to figure this shiz out, okay? So we are going to wrap this fabric all the way around this tumbler and maneuver it around the handle so that it looks like it's seamless. I mean, it'll never look seamless because the pattern's never going to line up perfectly, but we're going to do our best. And we're going to make the seam line up under the handle because that's going to be the place where it's going to be less noticeable. Okay, you guys? So what we're going to do is we're going to start on one side and we're going to line up our fabric. Okay, we're going to line up our fabric and then we're going to take our scissors and we're going to make a tiny little cut right where the handle goes, okay? So on both sides, you're going to make a tiny little cut with your scissors, and then it's going to split and you're going to know exactly how to slide that in. Am I explaining this good? Because I feel like it sounds like some sort of dirty podcast or something. I don't know. I felt dirty saying that. But anyway, you guys, so I'm going to go ahead and just cut it a little bit deeper. I'm just kidding. I hope, hey, I do specify that this is not for children when I post my videos. So I'm not responsible. Okay, so once you make those little slits, you go ahead and just place the fabric and maneuver it around the handle. Okay, and we're gonna Mod Podge this area first and secure it before we go on to doing the rest of the, I mean, obviously you have to start on one side. What am I doing? Why are you guys watching me? Duh, obviously you have to start on one side. Not me thinking I'm YouTube freaking royalty or something, trying to teach you guys, literally barely know what I'm doing. Like, who am I? Who gave me the right? Okay, sorry guys, let me concentrate. So go ahead and grab your Mod Podge, okay? And obviously you guys already know that I use little brushes that I get at Michael's, Joann, Hobby Lobby, wherever it is that you shop for your supplies. Why is this taking so long? There I am. Okay. So I'm going to secure the fabric around the handles first, okay? Just because I want to make sure it's really good, really in there, because I want to make sure that it's going to work out. Honestly, I'm kind of just like going by the minute here, okay? You guys, like, I was like, let's hope this works out. If this works out, I'll post it. If it doesn't, well, shit. So the whole time I was doing this, I was like, hopefully this will work, and hopefully I'll get it to look like it belongs on the tumbler and not like I split it around the handle. So I started by securing the very center. As you can see here, I just applied my Mod Podge with a paintbrush, and then I'm going to go ahead and just press it down and just try to get it nice and secure, nice and tight, because I want it to like, I want the fabric on either side of the handle to like hug it and like form around it and come together really nicely so that it looks like it was meant to be there, not like I cut around it, if that makes any sense. So right now I'm just securing those little areas, pressing it down nice and good, okay? And I don't want to like tickety talk. I don't want to tickety talk the whole time because I feel like I have done so freaking many fabric tumbler tutorials, and I feel like, okay, you get it. You know how I apply my fabric. It's all the same. So I am going to go ahead and let you listen to a little singity song while I do the rest of the tumbler, because I don't want to make you painfully listen to my squeaky ass voice the whole time. But it was really important for me to take the time to explain the part that goes around the handle. It's really not very complicated, guys. You literally just make the slits in the fabric right where the handle aligns. And then you just want to secure the fabric and make sure that you bring it as close together as possible. We just want to have a really seamless look so that when people look at this cup, they're like, oh my gosh, there's no way this was handmade. This has to be factory made because it's so perfect. I mean, how did the fabric get around the handle? Oh my Lanta. So anyway, guys, that is a wrap for the how to apply the fabric around the handle part. And I also made sure that I brought the fabric all the way to the other end of the handle, just because when I bring the other part of the fabric over to meet both seams, I don't want to have to make any more slits. Does that make sense? Let me say that one more time just in case, because sometimes I'm not good at explaining. So I basically made the slits on either side of the handle long enough to where it came all the way to the other side of the handle. That way, when I bring both seams to meet up, I don't have to make any more slits. Does that make sense? I just have to make both ends align, and then I just cut off the excess, but I don't have to make any more slits. So hopefully that made sense. I'm going to let you listen to a song, and then I'll be right back to tell you how I made the other ends meet. I love you guys.
Love of mine, someday you will die, but I will be close behind. I'll follow you into the dark. No blinding lights, tunnels to gates of white, just our hands clasped so tight, waiting for the hint of a spark. If heaven and hell decide that they both are satisfied, illuminate the nose on their vacancy sides. If there's no one beside you when your soul embarks, then I'll follow you into the dark. In Catholic school, as vicious as Roman rule, I got my knuckles bruised by a lady in black. I held my tongue as she told me, son, fear is the heart of love. So I never went back. If heaven and hell decide that they both are satisfied, illuminate the nose on their vacancy sides. If there's no one beside you when your soul embarks, I'll follow you into the dark. You and me have seen everything to see, from Bangkok to Calgary, and the soles of our shoes.
Okay, we made it to the part where we're going to make our seams meet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and just cut off the excess fabric. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to use it on a pen. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and just make both of our ends meet. I have found that sometimes it's easier for me to make a cut with my X-Acto knife after I Mod Podge the fabric, because sometimes I feel like, wow, come back. Hello, is everybody okay? You guys know what? I was totally going to edit that out of the video, but I decided not to because I just want my tutorials to be really raw and real and just show you guys that crafting is not perfect, and I'm never going to try to be perfect. So I'm going to show you that I'm using a freaking cut up pool noodle from Dollar Tree, and my cups fall over all the time. And you know what? That's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. And I'm okay with sharing that side of me because I want you guys to feel like you can relate to me and you guys can see that, hey, we all mess up. Seriously, all of us do. Okay, so what I did is I went ahead and I placed my fabric and not super glued it, but applied Mod Podge. And now I'm going to try to use my X-Acto knife to make a little slice, a little slippity slice to cut off the excess fabric. Now, because of the location, it's not going to be exactly perfect. I mean, honestly, regardless of where your seams meet, you're never going to have a perfect seam because patterns are never going to meet up perfectly. And that's okay because it doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to make sure that it looks good and that we can fool people and make them think that this was freaking made in a factory, not by hand. So that's the whole goal. Also, too, I feel like this fabric was working in my favor because It's super vibrant and colorful, and it has so many patterns and colors and designs. And so I just kind of feel like all of that worked in my favor. So another thing, you guys, is for some reason, I just think it's so much easier to cut fabric with an X-Acto knife when it's cotton, when it's lycra. Is that how you say it in English? Lycra? Lycra? In Spanish, it's lycra. I don't know if it's the same thing in English, but sometimes my words and my languages get mixed up. I'm sorry. It's just who I am, you guys. It's just who I am. But anyway, so I went in with my scissors and finished cutting the areas that I couldn't cut with my X-Acto knife. Also, keep in mind that the area where we're trying to cut and make the fabrics meet is kind of a difficult little area because it's right under the handle. But it's okay. It's okay, you guys. Just maneuver with it, play with it a little bit. Use your X-Acto knife, use your fabric scissors, and I promise you're going to be able to get it look good. The cool thing too is that typically when you look at, one of these tumblers with a handle, usually the side that has the handle is never the side that like people pay attention to, because you're usually holding it by there. So that's why I thought this was a really good spot to put the handle. Okay, I should have sped up this part a little bit because I feel like it's taking a long time. Hold on, BRB, I'm going to speed this up. Much better. Let's get this going a little bit faster and just get it out of the way. Overall, you guys, I think this seam looks pretty good. Considering the fact that we were working in a pretty difficult spot, I think that it looks pretty good. And like I said, no seams are ever going to be exactly perfect unless the pattern matches up exactly. And I don't think that happens very often with fabric, but honestly, I think that we did a really good job of placing it and cutting it and blending it. So I'm pretty happy with the outcome of the seam. I don't want to say the word seam anymore. If you are watching this, take a shot every time I say the word seam, because I feel like I've said it 50 times. Actually, we should have probably started this drinking game at the beginning, okay? At the beginning. So I'm sorry that I didn't. But anyway, once we have everything nice and secure, we're going to move down to the bottom of the tumbler. Now, for those of you who have been watching me for a while and you're loyal, you know that I always leave about 1/2 inch of fabric at the bottom, and then I fold it over and I glue it. In this case, this fabric cut was pretty much the exact size that I needed. So there was not a lot of excess for the bottom. So basically what I did was just take the scissors and the little areas that we had a little bit of an overhang, I just cut those off, and then I just used my paintbrush with Mod Podge and just made sure that it was nice and secure and that there was no space in between the fabric and the stainless steel, because when we epoxy, we don't want any of that epoxy to go in between the fabric and the tumbler. Otherwise, that's going to make for a very messy job, and we don't want that. I also want to point something out, you guys. So I normally use fabric. I mostly use Yes, of course I use fabric. I use cotton fabric, but I will say that what I did like about this lycra, and hopefully that's how you say it, because now I'm like lycra. What I like about it is that it's stretchy. So although you have to be very careful with that, because obviously you don't want to pull and tug too much at the fabric, otherwise you're going to distort whatever images are on there. But I do like the fact that I have a little bit of flexibility to be able to stretch out the fabric a little bit if I need to, because this is a 30 ounce. For those of you who know me really well, I don't mind 20-ounce tumblers. I use them for coffee and stuff like that. But my absolute favorite are 30-ounce tumblers, and that's because I drink a lot of water throughout the day. So I just hate having to constantly refill my water, and I feel like I don't have to do that as much when I have a 30 ounce. So they are my personal preference. And normally tumbler cuts are made for like 20 ounces. So sometimes it's kind of hard to stretch it out. Most of the time I get my fabric at Joann and I buy it by the yard or by half the yard, so I can cut it to whatever size I need. But when you're buying fabric from Etsy or something like that, where it's already cut to size, usually they're never made to accommodate 30-ounce skinnies. So I was very pleased that this specific tumbler cut fit my 30 ounce, because obviously I'm keeping this. I love Lisa Frank and I really want a cup with a handle. So I was like super excited. But basically, you guys just see me here, just securing the fabric. You just always want to make sure that you have a very nice seal, that everything is nice and secure. I know I always say that in all my videos, but guys, it's really important. And you know, I'm an overthinker. That's like my biggest downfall, is I'm always like, oh my gosh, I wonder if this upset this person or something. Like, I'm just an overthinker. And so sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I just repeat myself so much. I say the same stuff over and over and over and over. Oh my gosh, I need to stop. But every single time there is a new comment of someone saying that they're new to tumbler making and that my videos are helping them and that they're, learning something. So I always try to keep that in mind when I do my voiceovers and try to understand that while a lot of you are seasoned and pretty much already know what you're doing, I do have to also just make sure that my newer viewers, my newer tumbler makers are leaving my videos with a pretty good understanding of what they're supposed to be doing. So please bear with me, you guys, because I do want to be able to help as many people as I can, regardless of what stage in tumbler making you're in. So we're going to come up to the rim. And we're going to take our scissors and we are going to cut all the way at the very top, okay? You need a really good rim job. Oh, I need to grow up. Oh my gosh, I have freaking teenage kids. I need to chill out. Okay, so you want to make sure that your rim is nice and clean and even, okay? So take your scissors and cut off any excess, and we are going to repeat the exact same process at the very top of the cup, okay? We're going to take a paintbrush with Mod Podge and we're going to put it in between the fabric, and then we're going to take our fingers, our hands, and we're going to press in that fabric as much as we can so that it's very adhered and there's no epoxy that's going to be going in there whenever we go in to do our coat of epoxy, okay? That's super important, guys. I cannot stress enough how important this step is. It might be the most important step of the whole tumbler, okay? Getting a very nice seal at that rim is extremely, extremely crucial. Ooh, look at me using the word crucial. Anyway, okay, guys, so I'm not going to sit here and make you guys watch me do this, so I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead and move on to the next step, but you're just going to do this until you have a very nice seal at the top, okay? Once you've done all those steps, this is what your tumbler should look like, okay? And we are now going to seal it with Mod Podge, okay? This is also a very important step because you don't want your epoxy to repel, or you don't want to not properly seal your fabric and then have it absorb all of that epoxy, and then you're going to have wet spots and it's going to look not how you want it to look. So make sure you seal it very, very good. I am going to do 4 coats of, I feel like Lycra absorbs more glue than cotton does. So I normally do 3 coats, but I'm going to do 3 full coats of Mod Podge to seal this fabric. And basically I do very thin coats, make sure there's no streaks, there's no lumps, there's no bumps. If you lay on the glue too thick, it's not going to dry clear. So it is extremely, extremely important that you're doing nice, clean, long strokes and that it's very thin layer, okay? That's super important, you guys. I have had people message me and say, hey, my glue didn't dry clear. That is because you do thick coats. So make sure that your coats are very thin. Make sure you get the rim and the bottom. Make sure you get that little area under the handle. That's super important, okay? Now, guys, I do want to apologize because I know I always joke and I'm like, oh my God, my tutorials are so ghetto. But really, truly, they really are ghetto. Like, for example, for this specific tutorial, like, I'm going to give you a pro tip right now, okay? If you want to become a YouTuber, I will help you. I will guide you. I will teach you from my mistakes. Rule number 1 of becoming a YouTuber, make sure your camera is recording. It's such an amateur mistake, but guys, let me tell you something right now. It has happened to me one too many times. And honestly, my camera pretty much stays on my tripod and then I just hit the record button when I'm ready and then I stop it and then I start it and I stop it. And I feel like I do that so many times that I might forget that I already hit record. And then when I hit it again, it stops recording. I've got to get a grip on that. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you guys this is because I forgot, or no, I didn't forget. But when I thought I was recording the part where I was glittering the handle, it didn't freaking record. And I'm like, what? That made me so upset. But Thankfully, it's just the part where you glitter the handle. And I know that most of us know how to glitter. You basically just apply Mod Podge with your paintbrush and you sprinkle the glitter. There's really nothing to it. Then you take your polyacrylic sealer and you seal that glitter to make sure that when you epoxy it, it doesn't get all over the fabric. I'm so sorry, you guys. And since we're all confessing here, I'm also going to confess that a part that was super duper important for me to show you guys also didn't record. And that's the part where I was sanding the handle with a Dremel. But I did some ghetto shit so that I could still show you guys. Watch, I post this tutorial on Saturday and all of my subscriptions go down because everyone's like, dang, this is some ghetto shit. You're right. You're right. Where's the lie? There is no lie in that statement. This is just who I am. And I hope you guys appreciate the realness. And you know, I really could like edit my videos to where they're perfect and I don't show any of the mistakes that I make and there's no bloopers, but guys, that's just not who I am. And I don't want to create this like fake persona especially for newer tumbler makers that are just coming into the tumbler universe, and you know, they're intimidated, they're scared, they're nervous. And then here, you know, we are as YouTubers like making it seem like, you know, everything is perfect and we don't make mistakes, you know, intimidating people even further. That's just not the case. So I am always going to keep it real and show you guys the amazing, the ugly, the silly, the stinky, the everything. Like I'll show you everything. So you're always going to get that from me. And I promise to stay true. I promise to stay real. I promise to love you forever in sickness and in health, as long as you love me back. Anyway, guys, so basically what I'm doing here out of frame, so unprofessional, don't do that, is I'm just making sure that I have a nice seal with Mod Podge. Like I said, I went ahead and did 4 coats. I know that you guys don't need that explained because it's just the same thing over and over. So I'm going to go ahead and skip over this part and go ahead and move on to the next part. But I just want to say one more time, oh, I don't need to skip. It's going fast. Not my freaking YouTube video trying to embarrass me. I'm in charge. Don't try to skip ahead until I'm ready. Anyway, you guys, now that it's skipping ahead, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next step. But just as a reminder, I did do 4 coats of Mod Podge, okay? Got my tumbler nice and sealed, and then I set it aside to dry overnight, okay? And then I came back with my little ghetto ass, beat up, stained ass palette that I got at Joann. I should be using a paper plate, but I don't know why. I'm feeling bougie. Dead that I'm saying I'm feeling bougie and it's all freaking stained and messed up. I promise I'm going to replace it, you guys, okay? You deserve a more visually appealing palette to look at. Okay, so I'm going to take neon pink, of course. Predictable. You know neon pink is my favorite color. So I'm just going to take neon paint, acrylic paint, and I am going to patiently, carefully take my time and paint the handle pink. Okay, I did two coats of this, and that's just because when I sprinkle my glitter on here, I want it to be very pink, like extremely in your face pink. Okay, I want it to go with the whole like vibe and just super beautiful and bright. And so that, you know, you could sprinkle your glitter over the white handle, but you're not going to get that vibrant color. So I would suggest whatever color you want to do your handle, just make sure you do acrylic paint or even spray paint. But I felt kind of lazy to tape off the whole tumbler to spray paint, so I just did acrylic paint. You know, I actually think that a neon yellow handle would also look really beautiful, but I bleed pink. So this is what we did. I hope you guys are enjoying this tutorial. You guys, can I tell you a confession? I get really self-conscious when I post my videos. I don't know why. I get really nervous and I'm like, oh my God. Like I cringe sometimes when I watch it back. I'm like, oh my God, what do people think? Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Like, no, that's not good. I've got to get rid of that self-doubt because I know that you guys love me. I know that you do. And I read your messages and your comments, and the fact that you all tell me that I inspire you blows my freaking mind because I'm just I'm just a super sexy hot girl with a booty from the Bronx. I'm just kidding. I'm not from the Bronx. I also don't have a booty. I'm actually from Arizona, but you know what I'm saying. I'm from Mexico, but for legal purposes, I'm from here. Yay. Just kidding. Just kidding. Don't come for me, ICE. I got my paperwork in order. Anyway, by the way, you guys, I'm totally kidding. I hope no one gets offended by my jokes. This is just my personality. For those of you who are new here, I like to poke fun at myself because it makes me be less sad if I just laugh at myself. I'm just kidding. But anyway, guys, we're going to do neon pink. And then this next step, you know, after the paint is where I would have glittered, but I suck. So I didn't record it, but we've already had this conversation. We're going to move on to the epoxy part, okay? But anyway, you guys, like I was saying, I get really self-conscious about my videos. I don't know why. So whenever you guys leave sweet comments and stuff, it just lets me know like, hey, why are you being hard on yourself? People are loving it. Like, stop being so hard on yourself. So you guys do a lot more for me than you think I do for you. So thank you. Thank you because you say I encourage you, but you guys encourage me. That was so cheesy. Oh my God. Ew, that was cheesy, but I love it and I love you. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to get the tumbler nice and coated in epoxy before I move on to the handle. I don't know why. I just always do. That way I can give the handle the attention it deserves. So I tried to coat the entire tumbler in epoxy. And then, you know, it is a little bit time consuming to epoxy a cup with a handle just because you really got to make sure you don't miss any little nooks and crevices. And you want to make sure you have a pretty even coat of epoxy. So it did take me a little bit of time just to go all the way around. I cut parts and pieces of this video out because it was very long. Like when I tell you I take my time with a handle and I just make sure that it's coated underneath, on the sides, everywhere. So just take your time, you guys, okay? Make sure everything is coated. This is going to be our first coat of epoxy. After this has been spinning for 24 hours, we are actually going to come back and we are going to apply our decals. Okay, I can't wait for that. That's the cool thing about doing fabric tumblers is you don't need multiple coats to cover the glitter. You can literally come apply decals after your first coat of epoxy, which is amazing. It's a lifesaver. It's a time saver. Okay, the handle's going to take a little bit of love because it does have pink glitter on it. Oh, and life hack, not a life hack, but just a tip. Don't use chunky glitter on the handle, you guys. It is such a freaking pain to cover. I've tried to use chunky glitter on the handles and I have always regretted it. I'm like, why? Why did I do that? Why did I do that to myself? Like I'm a silly little goose. So I always do ultra fine on the handle. It just makes my life easier. Okay, so once we have everything nice and coated and we have the handle nice and taken care of, like I said, give it attention. We're going to pippity pop the bubbles. Okay, pippity pop, 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 da, 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 do. And a lot of people ask me how I keep lint and stuff and stuff off my tumblers. I use plastic bins from Walmart and I cover my entire turner until it's done, until it's completely dry so that nothing lands on it. No moscas, no flies, no cucarachas, none of that, okay? Stay off my cup, be gone. So now I'm gonna let it spin for 24 hours, okay? Look how beautiful. Oh, I'm so keeping this. Oh, my Lanta. Oh, this is good. This is mine. This is mine. It's too beautiful. It reminds me of when I used to make my dad buy me all the Lisa Frank folders and binders and freaking pencils and pens and all of that stuff for school. I thought I was so cool. But anyway, it just brings back memories. And I feel like I'm a very colorful person. So I feel like this is a very Myra tumbler. I mean, wouldn't you guys agree? Don't you guys think I deserve it? I'm so glad you agree. I'm so glad. Yep, I'm going to keep it. I am. Okay, guys, if my video will catch up with what I'm saying, the disrespect of my video, not like trying to go along with what I'm saying, like that's why my voiceovers never match up because my video always wants to do whatever it wants to do. After 24 hours of our tumbler spinning, we're going to be ready for our decals. Now, you guys, I'm so sorry. I'm going to go ahead and just put my name on it because when people ask me if they can buy my tumblers, I always feel really bad saying no. So I'm like, okay, yeah, you can buy it. And I really want this one. So if I put my name on it, it'll ensure that I don't sell it because I really don't want to. Like last year, I made a Barbie tumbler and I really didn't want to sell it, but one of my cousins wanted it and I felt so bad and I didn't have time to remake another one. So I just sold it to her and I have regretted it ever since. If you're watching Edith, I'm sorry. I hope you're enjoying your Barbie tumbler. But I have regretted it because I love Barbies. And at that time, I was so busy with orders that I didn't have time to make myself another one. And then we moved from Fort Bragg to Florida. And then I got here and I never got around to making myself another Barbie tumbler. And I've always been sad about it. So because I want this cup so bad, I was like, no, put your name on it. Otherwise, if someone wants it, you're gonna sell it. You're gonna sell it. But I do want to tell you guys this. I don't do custom orders and I don't do ready to ship just because YouTube takes up all my time. But it does break my heart when people want a tumbler from me and I'm unable to give you one or to sell you one. So I do want to let you know that I'm going to be working whoa, there it goes again. I'm going to be working really hard to try to get like 5 or 10 ready to ship tumblers out of just little cute ideas and stuff that I have. So definitely turn on your post notifications for my stories on Instagram because when I do decide to release them, that's probably where I'm going to let people know that they're going to be available. Because I don't sell a lot of time. By the way, you guys just saw me. What is wrong with me? You guys just saw me show my best friend. I was on FaceTime with her when I was doing this cup. And so when I lifted it and twisted it like that, it was to show her. But anyway, you guys, so definitely turn on your post notifications for my Instagram because when I do decide to finish up those tumblers and to post them, that is where I'll be updating everyone and letting everyone know. I will be posting the link to my Instagram in the description of my video. So I decided to add a little bit of holographic leopard spots to the handle. I thought it would look really cute and it would match the holographic vinyl on my name. And obviously, leopard spots go hand in hand with anything Lisa Frank. So I just thought it would go really good with the whole theme of the cup. So I'm super excited about it. When you do place the leopard spots at the top, don't place it too close to where the handle meets the actual cup because you will be sanding that area down with a Dremel if you get like a lump of epoxy and you don't want to scratch the decal. So just leave a little bit of wiggle room as you can see that I did there. Okay? But basically, I'm just kind of going around and in no specific pattern or anything, I'm just kind of placing the leopard spots where I think that they look good. I'm so excited about this cup, you guys. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I know I sound like a broken record and I've already said it like 50 times, but I'm just super excited about this cup. Okay, so once I'm finished placing my leopard spots, you guys, I'm going to clean it up and get my sausage fingerprints off of it. Just because anytime that you leave any oils from your fingers or anything like that on the tumbler, it's going to repel epoxy. And a lot of times that's where dimples form. So you just want to make sure that you avoid that. So I always take rubbing alcohol and you either use a paper towel, which sometimes paper towel is not the best to use because they leave residue. So maybe one of those fiber cloths or something like that you can use too. But here's the final product, you guys. The bottom doesn't have any glitter. I just painted it neon pink with the same acrylic paint. And you see that little bump right there where the epoxy builds up? Don't even worry about that because we are going to use a Dremel to sand that off, okay? But first, we're going to secure this with another coat of epoxy. I don't want to risk anything happening to my decals, so I just want to go ahead and put a coat of epoxy, and then after we let this spin for 24 hours, we're going to come back and we're going to sand the handle. Now, I do apologize, you guys. I already told you earlier in the video that I accidentally did not hit the record button. I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. Oh my gosh, so ghetto, so embarrassing. I'm sorry. So I'm just going to do a little demonstration for you guys with another tumbler, okay? It's got settings. It's got 1 to 5. okay, for you to use on the Dremel. And it comes with different little attachments that you could do. It has wider ones. It honestly comes with a lot of attachments. In this case, I'm going to use this little pointy one because the area that I need to get in to sand is pretty tight. So I don't want to risk using a bigger attachment and then messing it up. So guys, this is like a little demonstration because like I said, I wasn't recording when I was sanding the actual tumbler that I'm working on, so I do apologize. But basically, you want to use it on the setting number 1. I always use the lightest setting just to make sure I don't make any mistakes or mess up. And then I just get into those little corners. And right where it builds up and it starts to clump up, I go ahead and I sand that down to get a really nice finish, to get a really nice edge. And I kind of just clean it up really nice and really good, okay? So basically just do exactly what I'm doing. And honestly, some of you might not even need to, but I just always get, my epoxy always clumps up on the handle part. So I just always clean it up that way. And then I just use a a sanding block that's 100 grit. You can get them on Amazon, Lowe's, Home Depot. And then I just sand the rim and I sand parts of the handle that I didn't need to use the Dremel on. Now, guys, I always sand the rim at an angle to expose a little bit of stainless steel so that when I go back in with epoxy, I will get a good seal over the fabric. And then I clean it with alcohol. Okay, and then this right here is me doing the final coat of epoxy. I'm so excited, you guys. Oh my gosh. I am going to find the brightest, most obnoxious straw that I could possibly find for this tumbler, and I am going to walk around Target. Okay, I'm fake. Walmart. I'm going to walk around Walmart with it. But anyway, you guys, so stay tuned because I will be back shortly to show you guys pictures of the final product. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much. I appreciate the support. I love reading the comments. It's my favorite part. I always spend hours reading the comments and trying to reply as much as I can. So thank you for that. And I have some really big plans for some of the content that's going to be coming up on my YouTube. So thank you for being with me on this journey. And I can't wait to show you guys all of the ideas that I have coming up. Also, you guys, if you guys want to watch my lives, I go live in my Facebook group and in my my business Instagram. I'm going to link both of them in the description of my video. Please answer the questions if you request to join my group, and you will see me be going live there. I'm going to be doing a couple lives in my group next week for my sweet baddies. And I also do lives on my Instagram. So if you want to interact with me and get to watch me live and ask me questions in real time, that is 2 places where I go live very frequently. And I love you guys so much. Thanks again for watching. If you have made it all the way to the end, then you are loyal and I love you. Please comment below and let me know if you made it all the way to the end by commenting a pink heart. And stay tuned for Tuesday's video. We are going to be learning how to make something super duper cute, and I'm so excited. I love you guys so stinking much, and I hope that you're enjoying my content. I do put a lot of time and effort into these videos for you guys because you guys deserve it, and it just means a lot for me to be able to create quality content for you guys. So I hope that you love it. Anyway, here's the final product. Until next time.